be sure to visit our sponsor at gocollect.com. At long last, I am finally going to give you guys an updated look at my comic book room. I've been putting this video off for some time, and I finally decided to pull the trigger. Part of the reason why I kept putting it off was because I kept making changes and modifications to the room, but I realized that I was never going to record the video if I waited for the perfect time. So what I'll be doing over the course of this video is giving you guys a behind the scenes look at some changes and modifications that I've made to the room thus far. If you haven't checked out some of the other videos, you definitely want to do that because I show you guys various things in those other videos, from the mounts that are used on the wall to just other modifications and improvements that I made to the room in terms of lighting and blacking out the window, etc., etc. So definitely check those things out. And you also want to stay tuned until the end of this video because there just might be a special announcement. So stay tuned for that. One of the major changes that I made to the back room is this area behind me. As you guys know, this used to just be a blank wall with 2 rows of slabs up there. But thanks to my wife, I've actually made some improvements. I'm actually going to give you guys a closer look at what I've done back there. And then I'll also show you some of the other changes that have been made elsewhere. So not much has really changed with the slabs on the back wall. I've moved a couple of things around. I've added a few books here and there, but by and large, the 2 rows of slabs are basically unchanged. Most of what I've changed in the room actually happens down here, right below the slabs. I've actually put in a floating shelf that I picked up from Amazon. I think it was like $50 or something like that. The thing went in relatively easily. Took me about 20 minutes or so to actually get it set up, and I couldn't be more pleased with the shelf. I went with the larger one that I want to say accommodates about 25 to 30 pounds if memory serves, and certainly those 4 banks that I have up there right now don't weigh anywhere near that. But what I've done is I've actually installed 2 strips of micro lights. I did one behind the statues to kind of illuminate them from the backside, and I did a second on the underside of the floating shelf to basically illuminate the slabs that I have sitting down below. One of the other things that I've tried to do to this back room is to add a little texture and some color to it. And so on the left-hand side, what you actually see are 2 pieces of artwork. The first one on the far left is actually a print that was sent to me by a subscriber of the channel. The one to the right is actually a sketch that was done by an amateur artist, and I think both of them are incredible pieces of art. To the right of that is actually a Spider-Man statue that I've actually had since I was a teenager. And then to the right of that are just a couple of Spider-Man slabs that I grabbed from my bins. Next to that, I actually have some Gerber guides. If you guys don't know the story behind the Gerber guides, you definitely want to check those things out. They are awesome. And then here is my 3.5-foot broadsword. This is actually something that I won as part of a bodybuilding competition. Probably the best trophy that I've ever won out of all of them. This one is really cool. One of the other changes that I made to the backdrop here is this 6-foot half table that I put back here, and I actually covered it with a table skirt, so it's a little hard to see it, but it gives me a nice clean backdrop, and it also hides a lot of my bins down below. Another modification that I've made to the room is the installation of some very strategic soundproofing to kind of help absorb some of the sounds here in the room. I have them to my right. I have them directly in front of where I sit with the microphone, and then I also have them to the far left over here. And again, they essentially serve to absorb some of the sounds here in the room. The front wall remains relatively unchanged, a smattering of Amazing Spider-Man books and then some others that I've pulled from bins or pulled off of the back wall to move them to the front wall. So no major changes here to this front wall at all. The design is exactly the same as it has been. One of the last and probably one of the most significant and noticeable changes that I made to the room is the installation of this thing right here. This is a Rode boom arm that I picked up from Amazon, and it actually holds my microphone. I absolutely love this setup. Ever since I first saw one of these boom arms with microphones, I was like, I have to have that. And I'm very pleased with how this thing is performing. I think it's also improved the overall sound quality of my videos. And if you remember some of the early videos that I did in my kitchen, the sound wasn't always good, but I've tried to improve it along the way. I don't know how this is going to turn out because I'm actually not using a microphone because I'm filming on my cell phone. So this mic is actually not in use, but I definitely wanted to show it again because this is one of the major changes that I've made here in the comic book room. So there you have it. That is essentially the walkthrough of the major significant changes that have actually been made to the room. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. But before you go, one of the things that I definitely want to make mention of is that if you have an interest in actually winning this book right here, yes, it is another copy of Venom Lethal Protector #1. It is also a 9.8 with white pages. If you are interested in winning this book, all you have to do in the comments section is put Regie Collects. Say whatever else you want to say, but make sure that you include the words Regie Collects and you will be entered into this week's giveaway. Once that happens, all you have to do is to tune in on Sunday at 7:30 as part of my Ready, Set, Go live preview show to find out who the winner is. So Regie Collects in the comment section, be a subscriber of the channel, be a resident of the United States or Canada, or have a mailing address in the United States, and this book could be yours. Again, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Good luck this week in the contest. And certainly if you need me, don't hesitate to reach out at Regie Collects on Instagram and regiecollects@gmail.com. Take care. This content is sponsored by BCW Supplies. Visit them at bcwsupplies.com.